Just a few fellas on a podcast, riffing in the pitching jokes and sharing some laughs. Rob Ryan, Bedra, Jerry Bernstein. Ooh, they want to know if it's something, if it's anything. Often featuring Leedy Corbin.
I'm trying to put my finger on what this look reminds me of, because with the aviators, it's definitely like you are an illegal gun runner for, you know, like terrorists in Iraq, you know.
Lovely.
Or like a cult leader, and the cult is like just tapering off, you know. Like, this is not the heyday, you know.
Like, wait, come on, wait. You don't want to be part of a sex cult anymore.
People are starting to get wise. People are like, I think this whole cult is just...
Letty Bruce.
I think this whole cult is just having sex with Rob. Is anybody else getting that vibe?
It's like, can't even have a cult anymore. Marilyn, Charlie Manson.
No, Marilyn Monroe's cult was way better. Marilyn Monroe's. I'm in.
I was just thinking it might be nice if everybody drank this Kool-Aid. Kristen Key, I'm so happy to see you. It's been so
I'm so glad to see you and Leedy. Oh my God. I haven't seen you in months. We used to see each other every week, it seemed like.
Brett's checking the gigabits, so...
I thought he was frozen. I really thought he was
with
frozen.
us in a minute.
Yep, his eyes keep moving a little bit. It's kind of like a lizard on a rock. You just...
You're showing off that jawline.
You know what's cool, Kristen? I mean, I'm pretty sure this whole thing is just the background, but that foreground element of your background, because you're not touching it at all, it looks like it's actually the foreground.
Ooh.
Like, that little
the green screen is everything except for this part, it looks like.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like my brain can trick myself into thinking that that's like a real life foreground element that like exists.
That's my desk. That's how my desk is
Yes.
shaped. I get my pins out of there. Yeah.
All right, Millennium Falcon, have you been watching Kenobi? And
yes.
What have you been enjoying it?
Yes, I'm a big fan. I have one of my best friends loves it. We talk about it, and then also my sister-in-law is like, "Oh, it's garbage. We hate it." Now I don't know if I like her. Like, it's changed the way I feel about her. I'm like, well, are you dumb? And she's like, "Oh, it's so stupid." And that little girl, I'm like, "You mean fucking Leia?" Name's Leia, and she's awesome. So I have very strong opinions on it. Apparently, now that you asked.
I can tell. I like Kenobi. I think it's a little up and down, but I do like Kenobi.
Okay, well, you knew not to talk shit on the little girl. You're just like, I just don't.
She's flawless. She's great. She's Meryl Streep. I love her.
Wonderful. She really is. She is a young Meryl Streep. She's fantastic.
Yeah, the little girl's incredible. It is a little bit like very tiny girls acting like she's 40, but then as long as you're just like, you know what, and they are committing to it, you're like, I'm enjoying it. As long as I'm like, okay, I could suspend my disbelief for that, or I could just be like, she's just a prodigal person. I'm
And
like, then I can enjoy it.
She's older than she looks too, because they cast her small because Carrie Fisher was tiny. Carrie Fisher was like 4'10". That's why this little actress, when she's supposed to be 10 years old, you're like, she looks like she's 4. You're like, oh, because she's a tiny, tiny person.
That actress
because
is
she
22.
was cast.
Rob, you and I are making the same face. I'm glad we're having the same thoughts. And how do I sound compared to everybody else?
I might bring Brett up a skosh. What do we think?
I think I'd break
Yeah,
him up.
just a scope.
Bring me up a
Tiny,
skosh.
tiny bit.
What actually?
Doesn't need further than a
What if I do that?
Ooh, that's
Much
perfect.
better.
I
That's,
also like
that's the way to
that.
go.
Very nice.
Hold the
I like
mic
that.
closer.
That's very good.
I really liked how much everybody was on board with that move.
Yeah,
Oh my God!
nice,
Yes,
nice.
yes.
Whoa!
Or that is
Never
Game
like
changer.
Brett more.
Don't stop.
Never mind
Don't
anything
do
else.
anything else. That's the
You're
spot.
perfect. You're beautiful.
You're a model. You look like Linda Evangelista.
Never been done before. Totally
Yes.
original. Unbelievable.
No.
Hey, everybody,
Yeah.
guess what? It's the 100th episode.
It
is the
100th episode of Is This Anything?
Oh, this
for
is
today-
anything.
Yeah.
So to celebrate, we are pitching 100 jokes today.
That's right. 100 jokes.
Each.
Spitfire. That's right. So our notes have got to be real quick,
really
guys.
Quick, really quick.
I think it'll answer the question posed to the title of the show. Is this anything? No.
No,
No, it wasn't.
it wasn't.
Was-
100
And they're
jokes.
all
Nothing.
gonna be terrible.
You said 100th episode, and Bander had the most adorable reaction. He just goes, Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Vander.
Well, Kristen, thank you for joining us. We couldn't think of a better guest for our 100th episode.
Hell yeah.
I can. So many, but there's nowhere I'd rather be. That's not true. But I'm still here.
You know what? You reassess that opinion after Rob now gives you his response to your love of this actress
this isn't
playing
gonna be
Leia.
Oh boy, Kristen, I love you so much. I don't even know if I want to do this. Look, I stopped watching Boba Fett because it was such trash, and I don't care enough.
We've lost Kristen.
No, Kristen.
And I don't care enough about Boba Fett to like keep on watching. I'm gonna keep on watching Kenobi out of my love of Vader and Kenobi, but boy, oh boy, is it mostly trash for me.
Wow, I have
Oh, so
strong.
that's just your overall
disagreeing
opinion.
Overall, I hate it. Every episode has been worse than the last, except for the fifth one is just pulling itself out of a hole, but I grade it on such a curve because I'm like, yeah, all you have to do is do something halfway decent with Vader and Kenobi, and we're gonna fucking love it. In fact, a bunch of tripe-eating morons are already loving, no offense, Kristen, are already loving what you're putting out there because they love the characters that much. How can you screw this up so badly? So the fifth episode, I'm like, yeah, that's totally normal. You just have just a normal episode, and obviously we're gonna love it. Man,
Rob, if I
unbelievable.
may, I feel like I'm really getting a good handle on your opinion on this Kenobi series. So correct me if I'm wrong, but if I may,
Yes.
you're saying that Disney is just like happily spoon feeding dog shit into the mouths of idiots who are just slopping it. Blah, 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 blah. I
Yeah.
fucking love this dog shit. I love it. Put it on my
Yep,
face.
yep.
Put it in my mouth.
Yep.
Disney doesn't
Smear
even
it-
care where it's
smear it all
going.
over.
It's like they're getting in their hair and they're like, "Yes, Daddy. Oh yeah, I don't care." And
Yes.
you're saying you're not
enjoy
like
it.
that. You're not.
That's
an
your
idiot.
brand of dog shit. Kind of. I got a different
friend.
interpretation. I learned so much about Rob just now. It's just that you love Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Yes.
and you just hate women and children. And so as long as we know that going forward, I understand.
I love
but I
when
do
you slaughter
agree.
those kids.
Boba Fett was
No.
garbage. Boba Fett was
Ah,
garbage.
interesting. Yeah.
Well, what I actually was hoping that, Rob, you were going to address was what Kristen was saying, which is that they cast this child to look.
Yeah,
this
that
child
was
looks
strange.
younger because Carrie Ann Fisher was short,
Mm-hmm.
and that is some kind of voodoo in my head that does not make sense.
Yeah, I would agree with
That's
that.
my
people-
theory. I think that they cast her.
Oh, that's your theory.
to look-
Oh, okay. I thought
yeah,
this
my
was, like,
theory. I
written
didn't.
somewhere.
No, I haven't looked anything up. I just
Oh, okay.
when I first started watching, I was like, wow, she looks like she's like 5 or 6, and I realized that she's playing like she's like 10. And I'm like, oh, it's because Carrie Fisher was like 4'10", and so they cast like a small, tiny person.
But your
Princess
height
Leia.
doesn't have any indication of your age.
Sure, it
think so.
does.
I think so.
Absolutely,
No,
it does.
people-
I mean, just
people hit
because
growth
I was
spurts,
6
people-
feet tall when I was, 9.
Unlike what everyone else is saying here, and I don't mean any offense to this girl, she's just a little girl, but I'm not digging her. Nothing about her line reads. I'm like, wow, good line read. I believe
Oh,
you.
really?
It sounds like every time for me, they just put a cue card in front of her, like, read this one. And like, you just don't, like, you lie to people, but you're really lying to yourself, and you're going to be that way for the rest of your life. I'm like, no, what? You don't even know what your words you're saying. Like, there's no way. I don't buy any of it. Look, I
would
grew up
disagree
on,
with that.
I grew
I
up
think-
on Macaulay Culkin, all right? That kid fucking
can act.
acted his
That kid
face
can
off.
act.
All
Haley
right,
Joel
do you think-
Osment.
Oh
that
my
kid
God.
can act.
Do you think that Michael Jackson fucks anyone? He fucks the best of the best, and Macaulay Culkin was the best of the best. And you know what? Maybe I'm spoiled. Maybe I'm a
So you
little
like
spoiled.
little boys, but not little girls. Women. So it's women and little girls you do not. So it's
Thank you.
just the female species that you're
Right. That is, yes,
very
I'm
critical
against
of.
that. Very
What
critical.
about the kid that played Anakin? Because I could drop that kid just into a well and forget about him and go about my life feeling
lot of
like a
people
Christian, Christian woman.
Yeah. I don't think the kid who played Anakin
Now
was
that's
good
pod
either.
racing.
I think you could take any one of his lines in The Phantom Menace after dropping him in the well, and it would be hilarious.
Very, very funny. Yeah.
Two
no,
things
I didn't
about
like him
that
either.
kid. Number one, it's almost like it's now canon to get bad child actors in Star Wars. If they got like a good child actor,
Kristen's
then
so
all the
upset.
fans would be like, "Oh, boo! This is completely against what this series is about." That's number one.
I just want little Princess Leia to win an Emmy. And
think
then
she's great.
in her acceptance speech, say, Rob Ryan can suck my ass for calling me just a little girl. Fuck you.
I disagree with you, Rob. I think she's doing an incredible job. I know that the child doesn't know the meaning of the dialogue that she's given, but I'm like, even if she has her mom coach, acting coach, just telling her exactly how to do it, these little things she's doing, she is nailing. I am very impressed with her performance.
Also, Ewan McGregor doesn't know what he's saying either, and he makes it work,
I was about to ask, Leedy was a child actress, and I don't think you're an idiot. I mean, I feel like kids at a pretty young age know what their lines mean to an extent. I mean, absolutely. I know several child actors. They know what they're talking about.
I just watched a video of Leedy as a child actor, and they said, "Tell us about the character," and she said, "Well, she's blonde, obviously." So
Never mind. Leedy, what do you think of the dialogue? Pee-pee.
Thank you for bringing that up, Brett, because I was about to say the same thing. I was not an emotionally intricate
it was so
acting
cute, though.
I spent 6 months on the set of this movie as a 7-year-old. And the emotional range that I got to was probably the joy that I felt when I told the person interviewing me that my hair was blonde.
Okay. Point taken.
You know what? I don't want to even get harp on her because I have no issues with her. Truly, it's the writing and the direction and the editing and the story that's driving me crazy. The girl's fine.
I can't defend her to the ends of the earth. It's not really my hill to die on. You know.
A friend of mine watched a featurette on the casting of the prequels, and he watched, I think it was George Lucas, pick between these two child actors, the one who eventually got the role of Anakin and the one who didn't. You've seen this, Kristen?
Yeah. It'll boil your brains.
So correct me if I'm wrong, because this story is third hand.
Yep.
My friend John is watching this, and George Lucas is like, he's talking about the other child actor who's good, and he's like, yeah, I think that he can do it. I think he can do the part, and then he goes to the other kid, and he's like, but I just never know what he's gonna do, and John's watching that like, no. Is that as you remember it, Kristen, or
yeah,
no?
absolutely, yeah.
The other kid was better.
Yeah.
Basically.
It was basically like if you had cast Macaulay Culkin as Anakin Skywalker, which would have been amazing.
Oh my God. That guy, he can play that age now, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He kills all those kids. He's like,
I will say though, Hayden Christensen has not aged around his eyes much at all. But, right here, he's focused all of his aging right here.
Yeah, when it was supposed to be a flashback, but it looked like he had an aging filter from TikTok on.
I definitely saw there must have been de-aging on Ewan McGregor too. So they're obviously tinkering around with that a smidge. I don't know what they
ran out of budget.
Yeah.
But what we got here? Oh no, we're at the eyes.
It's so crazy because of all like the budget things, like that bothers me the least. Like of all the times I can tell that they're in the volume, if you're familiar with that thing. Anyway, it just drives me crazy how like small scale everything feels because I'm like, he's in the volume again. Yeah.
Small scale.
I do not have to take this from a woman. That is for sure. Anybody else?
We get a little girl for you to punch.
I'm right across the hall.
I'm gonna punch her good.
Yeah, go punch Leedy until you feel good enough to do this podcast.
Rob says he's going to the bathroom. He leaves his screen. We just see a fist come into Leedy's window.
Bander, can you punch Leedy in the face?
He just left, and I just gave him 20 Canadian, so he's not going to punch me anytime soon. I have one.
Canadians or just
20 Canadians?
Like a hockey team? I just gave him 20 Canadians.
They were just at a coffee shop, and Leedy said to 20 Canadians, "Come with me," and they're like, "Oh, okay, all right."
Put that hockey puck down.
Kristen Key, how's it going? Let's have a catch up. What have you been up to? It's been so long.
Well, you guys, I avoided COVID for 2.5 years. I got it like 2 weeks ago on a cruise ship
Very
where
exciting.
it lives the most.
It's natural habitat.
I like when you say you avoided it because it's like you're avoiding talking to somebody at a party. Like you successfully navigated the party for like a really long time. Then you're like, oh no, this is you're going to get your coat.
It's exactly true. That's like I didn't bump into COVID at a wedding.
I love the idea
COVID at
that big
the
circular COVID
Yeah.
thing, just holding like a martini glass. You're like, oh god, oh jeez, this is so
make eye
embarrassing.
contact. Don't make eye
Everybody's
contact.
dressed nice, but COVID's wearing one of those shirts that just has a tuxedo on it.
Oh god.
Oh my God! Hey, Kristen, how's it going?
Oh, it's been so long. Bring it in. Bring it in. Bring it in.
Call. It's my agent. I gotta go. It's a big part.
Really?
Trying to
I thought I
recast
said-
Leia.
I thought I
Yeah.
saw your agent at the party right over there. Isn't that him?
I mean, finally ran face first into COVID on a ship, and it was awful. It was terrible. It's 10 days that I'll never get back.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
sorry to hear
Started
that.
GoFundMe. I am still scarred. And I
How are you
watched-
feeling now?
Wonderful, amazing. Like
Excellent.
couldn't be better. I'm watching Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel, so I got stuff to do. Do you hate that woman as well, Rob? Or
I didn't even watch it because I
of
heard it was
course
so
not,
bad.
because
yes.
Yeah.
Female lead. Gotcha. Okay. As long as we know what's going on.
As soon as you said miss, he was like, I know how I feel.
Oh, and I've been watching The Government. Of the news. I just watched
great.
the news. Yeah. I've been watching the government show. It's so good. I'm
It's
so into it.
terrifying.
Oh,
It's a
Parks and Rec?
crazy season.
That's great.
It's a crazy season. Yeah, this is kind of what I've been waiting a few years for. Even if nothing happens, it's just nice to hear everybody going, well, this happened to me, and then this happened, and yes, it happened. And you're like, crimes. Crimes
Yeah.
happened. Those are crimes.
You
Yeah.
are singing my song, Kristen Key. Oh my God, I'm right there with you. But before we move off of Rob's sexism, I just wanted to say one last thing, which is that Rob only likes movies that fail the Bechdel test. Anyways, what were you saying, Kristen? About
That's good.
Crimes. Crimes.
Crimes.
Everybody sees the crimes except for the Justice Department that's watching Law and Order or something. Just like, I don't know, Mariska Hargitay is pretty. What's going on? You're like, crimes.
Just to be clear, Kristen is talking about men, so we're still good Bechdel test-wise. These are men who committed these crimes.
That is true. That is a fact.
But if you and Leedy start talking about not men, well, Robin's
No,
out.
I am out. 100%.
Hey, I just switched my volume around a little bit. Is it okay still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds
All
good
right,
to me.
I think you sound even better.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And you got handsomer too.
Whoa. I did move the microphone. That actually did move the microphone away from my face.
Now we can see a little bit more. Mama likes.
Yeah. What if I move the microphone just like right?
Whoa.
Now daddy likes.
Yeah. Your volume is
so many
good,
things.
but it's a little hot, if you know what I mean. Well, I'm so glad you're feeling better, Kristen. I'm so glad you got lots of Disney properties to shovel your money into. That's so wonderful. The
Just
economy
eat
really
that
needs
dog
it.
shit.
Yeah.
It's right by him.
Stick your
Yeah.
head into the trough.
Anybody else have anything for the catch up? Everybody?
It's been an experience on tour. There's been a lot happening. We're doing a lot of exploring.
Ooh.
And there's a moment yesterday that I specifically wrote down because I wanted to share it.
Ooh.
But both times I've shared it with someone else, I guess I didn't tell it right, and there was a terrible reaction. So I'm gonna let Rob.
Totally
share
fine.
it.
Oh my
right.
God, this is terrible. Well, it wasn't a big joke. It was just we got out of the van. We're in Ottawa, by the way. We saw a tree, and there was a bunch of moss on the tree, and we're like, "Hey, moss on the tree!" And I said, "Yeah, you can actually tell which direction is north somehow." And then we walked. I didn't know, but you probably could. And Leedy died. She just died. She loved it so much.
Because he walked around the tree, and the tree was entirely covered in moss.
There was a lot more moss
no
than I
one
thought.
Side. That was in any way.
But now I want to hear how Leedy told the story.
No,
Oh, it was
bad.
similar. It was very similar.
I must have been so shitty or something. I was like,
No.
this tree.
Like, Rob got outside. There's a tree, moss.
It's pretty.
As far as moss jokes go, I'm liking it.
Oh my
Like,
God! I'm rolling, but I shouldn't be rolling too much because then there'd be no moss. Rolling Stone gathers no moss. Rolling Stone,
Oh,
Beatles.
okay. I'm not liking that one.
Beetles are sometimes found in nature with moss.
Nature with Moss. Kate Moss, very thin.
Worms. Is that anything? Worms? I have a question, Rob. Is there a thing about moths in North, or was this just like completely fabricated from start to
Yeah,
finish?
the sun's usually in the southern part of the hemisphere, and you're going to get moss in a more dewy area. So the moss should be growing on the southern side of the tree.
Speaking of dewy areas,
I'm sorry,
I
the
heard that
northern side of the tree. I apologize.
dogs only take shits when they're pointing due north, is what I heard.
Oh,
that's true.
Due
Yeah.
north?
I don't know if it's true either, but my wife and I now, when we see dog shit on our walk, we're like, which way are they pointing? Are they like, and is it their tail or their head, or is it
That's
the
so
shit?
interesting.
But it's something to Google. Which way on a compass does a dog shit? In case you're lost in the woods, you're like, I don't know where I'm going. Find a dog, make
Really?
it shit.
I feel like we could be able
I
to
said
test
due
that
north,
just by looking at any dog on the street, right? Couldn't we?
I feel like you could too. Yeah. So we need to
Did
put
you
our
hear me
heads
say
together.
due north? Because I said due north. And I just
all
wanted
I
to be
heard.
sure.
I don't know how many
Doo-doo
times you need me to laugh at that,
Speaking
Rob.
of doo-doo
That
north,
is great.
you guys.
Oh, Jesus.
Unless the dog is Muslim, because then he faces Mecca. When he, I don't make
of-
the rules.
Things that are a little offensive.
I mean, the tiniest bit. I
a
don't
little
see how
bit.
that even.
I have a
Women,
question for you guys.
Children, Muslim dogs. Got it.
Muslim dogs.
I have a question for you guys. It's a two-part story. The first part is this offensive? I have a friend who is hopelessly attracted to Jeremy Irons, just like past, present, future. She's gonna be
Offended.
horny for his rotting bones after he dies. And she was talking
he
about
again?
how
I thought he was dead.
Jeremy Irons.
Star.
Yeah.
Scar, yeah.
Scar.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He was in Die Hard 3. He
Yes.
was in Stealing Beauty with Liv Tyler.
He was recently in Watchmen.
He was in
HBO
Watchmen.
series.
That's right.
He's Scar. Okay.
If we're talking about how attractive he is, Scar is probably not the best example for me to give, but
I don't know.
But I do
Scar's
like
fucking hot.
Kristen
Scar
Key
can get
is
it.
going to hear the story I'm about to tell and is going to have Scar in her
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
She
Okay,
is
so she had the pen in her hand too. Okay, so he was Scar. I love
So
that.
she is
Oh, God.
so unbelievably horny for Jeremy Irons. She told me, and remember, this is her joke, not mine, so I don't know if this is offensive or not. You let me know. Jeremy Irons played the lead in the most recent film of Lolita about a man who has a sexual relationship with I think it's like
A tiger, a lion, like an evil lion with a with a thing over his eye.
Scar.
13-year-old girl or something.
that's Loliger.
And her joke about this was, I think he was miscast because watching that, you don't think, man, that's a creep for having sex with a 13-year-old girl. You think, lucky 13-year-old girl. And so I was like, I don't know if that's offensive or not. It feels offensive because it's a little bit like demeaning the trauma of being abused as a child. But you guys let me know. What do we think? Offensive or not offensive?
Well, I have never been in a relationship with somebody who has, taken advantage of me because I was younger. So let me just pass it off to my girlfriend. And
I got this one.
Any thoughts? Offensive, not offensive?
Well, if it's coming, since it's coming from a woman who is attracted to Jeremy Irons, total fair game. I would make the joke. Or maybe I would, and you guys would yell at me. But I think either way, no, I think she could tell the joke. That makes total sense to me.
Here's part 2. You ready? Kirsten and I were watching an episode of Law and Order SVU,
I
starring
don't think I like it.
Jeremy Irons.
I
Jeremy
said
Irons.
nope. Canceled. I hate it. I simply said to Kirsten.
Jeremy Irons is playing a recovered sex addict who thinks in his past he got really drunk one night and accidentally had sex with his 16-year-old daughter.
I've seen this movie. I've seen
What?
this
You've seen
episode.
this
I've seen this
yeah.
episode multiple. Now I know who Jeremy Irons is. The sex star.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He thinks he got drunk and had sex with his daughter.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil the episode. Well, never mind. I'm not
Well,
going to. Go ahead with your story. Sorry.
Spoiler alert,
Now I
I'm
know
going
who
to
he
tell
is.
you what happens at the end. They locate the other girl that was hanging out with his daughter at the time, and she reveals, no, you didn't have sex with your daughter. You had sex with me. She was 16 years old at the time. He was an adult. Okay. So obviously this is illegal. But as she is confessing this to Jeremy Irons, who is having like a very emotional moment, like, oh, I can't believe I didn't have sex with my daughter. I'm so happy. Oh, I'm so relieved. Blah, blah, blah. This woman is basically saying, and I swear to God, this is in the episode. She's like, oh, and I'm not upset about this, by the way. It was super hot and I loved it.
Wow.
Joke that my friend made up is a plot point in an episode of SVU. It's like Jeremy Irons is so fucking hot that even if he did statutorily rape you, as an adult, you wouldn't be like traumatized. You just feel like, and he's there in the interrogation room. We just like still horny for him. Like, oh, what are you doing after this? Ugh.
can I give him an interrogation? Let me in that room.
Damn.
It was a wonderful experience. It was great. It was so
You can't
much
see me
fun.
through the mirror?
I think everybody
Holy
responds
shit.
to their lives differently. Some people are, some things might really hurt some people, other people might not. The fact that it's a third-party individual writing it for an actor or actress, I want to check who wrote the episode at the end and just be just to
Jeremy
be clear.
Irons.
Oh, right.
It's a weird episode. It starts with this. Yeah, it starts with a lesbian couple. One of the lesbians gets murdered
That
at the
is
beginning
weird.
by this guy. And yeah, lesbianism is very weird. I'm sure. We'll put that on the list of things Rob hates. Be sure.
What did they
Gay
write about?
ladies.
Two women's kissing?
Isn't that redundant? You already have women on there. Isn't it redundant to just say like he also hates 2 women?
I just put 2 check marks next to women.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we all know
Women,
what that means.
parentheses, any number.
It is a weird ending though that everybody's so relieved. He's like, oh, I didn't have sex with my daughter, even though like everybody kind of like the people you're like, oh, I hope she pulls through and makes it out of the coma. She dies, and everybody's like, oh, but he's like, but I did fuck the 16-year-old. And everybody's like, hooray!
Wow. That's so unbelievable.
Oh, I'm glad there's a happy ending. At least.
What gave him the hunch that he had sex with his daughter? Like, when are you like, what did I do last night?
Kristen, you want to take it?
Yeah. Hi, SVU, long time answer. So he thought that he had basically raped his daughter because his daughter stopped speaking to him after that weekend. But in reality, she stopped speaking to him because she had a big old lesbo crush on the 16-year-old he did fuck. He did get drunk. He did fuck a young girl. But he didn't fuck his daughter. He fucked the girl that she had a crush on. Wow. See how lesbianism ties into this episode?
This
It
is
is.
a great episode.
Okay,
just
Becky, I'm
writing
going to
this
erase
episode.
that mark that you had.
Oh,
Where's
now I
my
like
pretend
lesbians again?
chalkboard?
That's great.
Jeremy Irons is writing this episode, and he's like, the only way someone could ever be mad at me is if I
my God.
accidentally used my sexuality against them.
Why wasn't he more sexual in Lion King? He's so good at it.
Are you kidding? I know so many women who are like,
yeah, look at
He was
Leedy
telling you to
Corbin
be,
right now.
be prepared for something.
prepare that butthole for Jeremy Irons. That's right.
When he digs his claws into Mufasa's wrists, a lot of women were like,
he's the
"Oh,
king."
yeah,
Ow.
dig those nails into me."
Hey. Wish he was penetrating me like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google "scar is sexy" to see what comes up.
It'll be there.
You're gonna find
I
some
promise
sexy
you it'll be
scars.
there.
I bet
there's
you
gonna
will
be
see.
gonna
There's
lots of
explode.
porn. Just
gonna be some
tons
scar
of it.
fetish. Look out for that.
Mhm.
Well,
fetish.
of this, which I think is very fun.
Hey, that was my moment. That is fucking
That's
sexy.
exactly the
That's
moment
the image
that
I have. And that Nala
just
scene.
fantasizing
I want you to
about.
look up that Nala where she like does this little thing, like she's looking out, like she knows she's about to get fucked. Like she's like, she does a little chin down. And she's
We're
like,
not
Mark
talking
Adam,
about lady lions right now, Rob. We're talking about Scar, all right?
I'm sorry.
Rob likes women when they're getting fucked. Let me just add that to his profile.
God. Did you see Lion King 2, where Scar had a son? Because his son,
His son was hot too.
that's who
Oh.
the Lion King people really
Didn't,
wanted.
oh yeah,
They were hot
Okay.
lions.
that's fucking hot. Lion.
In the new Top Gun movie, Goose's son is named Rooster, so like both birds. Does like Scar's son have like a
Amputation. Like,
His name is Kovu, and about 3/4 of the way through the film, his mom scratches him across the eye, giving him a very similar Scar look.
Oh, it's his Scar Mitzvah.
Excellent.
Now you are a man, my son.
So when did Scar and this mother get it on? Like canonically?
It is very unclear. It's so weird because she has many children, but it's heavily implied that they're not all Scars. But the kid that she had with Scar is the youngest and the one that she was like raising to kill Mufasa.
Ooh, interesting.
Wow. This
well,
is
the
like
gestation
Creed.
period of a lion is only 110 days, so there's
Which is
plenty
the
of
thing
time.
that Kristen
Yeah.
Key just knew.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't Google that. Just
But
about
what's fun-
110. They're always
days.
pointing north when they do it.
How great would it be if they had to put a scene in the movie to explain Scar's estranged wife, where he's like plotting the overthrow of the Lion Kingdom, and she's just sitting there like with a martini, and he's like, "Do you know what time it is?" She's like, "Go to hell! You've never been able to get it up in years."
I smell another Hamilton joke coming on from Jarret.
That's
Oh
Scar's
wow,
wife.
that's Scar's wife. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Looking pretty evil.
Yeah. And what's fun is so Kovu, he's gonna go kill Mufasa, but he ends up falling in love with Mufasa's daughter.
Wait, Mufasa's?
Yeah,
daughter?
Mufasa
Not
is
Mufasa,
Simba's dad.
Simba,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, yeah. I was a
Kovu
little
is going to
confused
kill
on that.
Simba, not Mufasa.
I like now it reshapes the Lion King for me because like now I'm trying to picture where Scar was each moment in the movie. Like after he'd be like, "Be prepared," and he's like, "But tonight I got a date, so let's do this tomorrow."
Well, see, in my version, they just have a fight. right. Then. And he's just like, are you still singing with those fucking hyenas? Well, why don't you fuck one of them then?
I don't need this. I don't need this from you.
It's very Elizabeth Taylor and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Like, that's how I'm imagining it. You know?
Crimes.
Yeah,
Let's go back to crimes.
Merrick
okay.
Garland, watch
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So now I'm watching SVU. I watched that episode. Jeremy Irons, what a stud!
Yeah.
You made crime.
You made crime.
You made crime.
You made a
Yep.
lot of crime.
You make crime, you go jail.
You make crime, you go jail.
Easy.
You know, I think they need to rewrite the Miranda rights and the way that Kristen Key does it.
You made crime, you go jail. Say something? Boo!
Listen, I really want you to be the prosecuting attorney against Donald Trump. The defendant is going to have this long,
You make crime?
eloquent-
You make crime? No. You make crime? Yeah.
Ladies and
You
gentlemen
go
of the jury, he made crime. He go jail.
Make
Trump
crime, you
will
go
actually
jail.
respond to Kristen. You'd be like,
Yeah.
finally, someone who
Speak my
understands.
language. All right. Anything else with the catch up, y'all? Should we get to these bits?
I think we should get to these
little-
bits.
let's get
We
these
all have a
bits.
hard out. We should probably keep
These
these short.
kibbles.
Okay.
Do we have any guesses on the order in the chat? Has anybody guessed the order
should
in the
ask that earlier.
chat?
We don't have any guesses so far. No preemptive guesses. I think
This
I
is
know.
live?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Streaming on Twitch
Hey!
these days.
We should tell our guests that before.
We probably shouldn't have talked so much
Guys?
about child rape if we knew
Oh.
this was live.
All right, Kristen.
Okay, Kristen's taking care
Can
of
I
it right
touch
now.
him? I can't. I don't know how live
There we
works.
go.
Hi guys. Hi.
Oh, Molly's got a guess now. We got BJRK.
Ooh, BJ.
Rob, any thoughts about that? Any thoughts about that order, Rob? BJRK. Brett, Jarret, Rob, Kristen. Any thoughts?
Yes, it sounds like blowjob R. Kelly. And that's in line with the show we've been talking about
Not-
because
It really is.
he
Not what I was
sexually
getting at.
abuses
It
young
really is.
girls.
Not what I
Okay,
was getting at.
here it is.
Oh, who are you getting at?
Here it is, dumb idiot numbnuts.
You fucking morons.
You fucking idiot people who listen to our podcast every week.
Oh,
The guest always goes third.
the guest
so stop,
always goes third.
So stop guessing wrong. You're
Stop
all
eating
dumb.
your dog shit and watching Kenobi.
I bet you love Kenobi. I bet you love every
my
second of
God.
Kenobi.
yeah, fuck you, Molly, supporting our show from day one.
We love you, Molly.
Sorry, Molly, you were so close. Our order if only you had switched if you only had put the guest third, you would have got it. Our order this week is Brett, Jarret, Kristen, Rob. Brett, Jarret,
Kristen,
Rob,
Rob.
Brett, Jarret.
Molly, we love you.
Alrighty, here we go. When I was 11, I was diagnosed with ADHD. I don't know what it stands for because I wasn't paying attention. My best guess is disorder.
I love that so much.
It sucks because sometimes my girlfriend tries to tell me a story and she doesn't have sparklers or a sock puppet. So she gets upset that I'm not listening, and it doesn't make a person less upset to explain that clinically you're incapable of paying attention to things that are boring.
I wouldn't want to be her right now. But what a singer.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily, she's not on it. Oh, boy.
Oh no.
Oh, boy.
I don't want to see this drawing. Oh.
God.
What did you just do?
I just let some steam out of my pants.
Oh,
What? Is that an expression?
Well, you know, it's hot collar. I don't know.
bringing
Maybe
back
your
the
pants,
paper
maybe your
bag.
pants get hot too. I'm letting air out of everywhere.
That was an A to D, I think.
I love it. I love it. This person should take their shoes off. They
That
should
would have
do
made more
everything.
sense to me, Rob.
I think it's a great joke.
It's a great joke,
Oh,
Brett.
thank you. We're gonna fight.
he wasn't paying attention. Anybody else? I mean, the only thing I might add is like when you were first diagnosed, I wasn't paying attention. I might add what the distraction was, but I think it works just fine as it
Ooh, I
is.
love that.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention because there was a squirrel outside.
I think squirrel's a little on the nose. I think it should be
The
something.
doctor had
that
light
is-
up shoes. Like
No, make it boring. I think. I think
Oh,
make
okay.
it boring.
Oh,
The
Like-
clipboard had one of those like little metal things attached to it with the pen. It was like
There was a weird looking paper clip.
I definitely.
I agree with Jarret though. Something small, minor, or whatever.
Right.
Squirrels are common like reaction.
Yep.
I really like. I don't know what it stands for, but if I had to guess, it would be duh. My only note there was that I don't know if it was just in the performance, but you kind of talked through it, and I think you need a beat there because for a second I was like, I don't know what Brett's doing right now. Oh,
it
I
was
see what-
hilarious.
Yeah.
I want you to keep the
joke.
squirrel. Keep the squirrel. Be like, I was diagnosed with ADHD. I don't know what that stands for because I wasn't paying attention because there was a squirrel. And I was like, shit, I'm in a vet's office. That's a totally different way to go.
Squirrel. Oh shit, I'm in a vet's office. Well, I mean, I was in a vet's office. The squirrel wasn't in the office. The squirrel was still outside. I mean, vets don't work on squirrels, idiots. Vets
Anyways,
generally
this
work
vet
on
told me I have
people's
ADHD.
It was my second opinion. I'm like, okay.
Different end. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, chivalry.
Everything's great, but I like exploring the idea of, does this make you a better storyteller? Or can you admit to the audience, you're like, I don't want you to think that it makes me a better storyteller. Like,
I would
just
say that
because-
I'm not a good storyteller.
Well, there you go. Then that could be even honest. Like, this is kind of a totally separate joke, but it would be fun that now that the audience has this information that you have ADHD and you are
especially
susceptible
that I
to bad stories.
I just served a pretty cold dish to my girlfriend. It would be nice
Right.
to also then
Yeah,
lampoon
eat some
myself.
crow too a little bit. Crow.
Yeah.
Well, I was at the vet's office, so there was a crow there. But again, the crow is outside the window. They don't operate on crows at vet's offices unless someone owns a crow, which is kind of ridiculous. Who owns a crow in this day and age? That's dumb.
I mean, you could own a crow because they become friends with you if you feed them. They actually
yeah.
remember people. It's
I do
really
remember your
interesting.
faces.
What about this? What if I start with, I was 11, I was diagnosed with ADHD. It sucks now because sometimes my girlfriend tries to tell me a story and she doesn't have sparklers or a sock puppet. So she gets upset, blah, 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 and then incapable of paying attention to things that are boring. And then I go, I'm not sure what ADHD stands for because I wasn't paying attention when I was diagnosed. And then I go into the squirrel vet thing, and then I could be like, oh, also I'm a terrible storyteller myself. Like if I flip the
right.
thing,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I can do that whole thing, and it is kind of an ADHD thing.
Right.
And then I could be like, also I'm not good at telling stories or listening to them.
There is some super meta fun in that if you can make that work. For
Right.
sure. If you cannot make it work, I still think there's plenty of room to just do it linearly, where like there's a joke about this, open and close, there's a joke here, open and closed, and then you can go into because I think there is something fun about this concept of just the same way that anyone might be critical of anything. You might be critical of food, but you can't cook. You might be critical of films, but you can't make one.
Counter argument. I agree with Rob. It's a really fun bit of meta business. I think that the rhythm that the joke has right now, with like solid punchline really quick, solid punchline really quick, and then the joke continues on this topic, but it's a little bit more stretched out. I think that's exactly what you want in a joke. And so I would be wary of messing with that just because
Gotcha.
it's so perfect right now. Just
great.
Yeah,
and then
really nice.
a really
Yeah.
nice takeoff.
Thanks.
I like where it ends. I wish like Leedy was clinically incapable of doing something nice for you at this point. Or maybe that's her excuse. You know, it's like you're
Really
clinically
funny.
incapable to listening to things that are boring. And now she's, you know,
She
tells
has
me she's
ADBJ. She's like, don't blowjob.
clinically incapable of pleasing things that are annoying. You know.
Anything else for Brett, everybody? Anything else for Brett? Drug.
Well job, Brett. Good
Oh,
job.
just applause.
ADBJ is funny.
Good job, Leedy. Way to be
Yeah,
in
I
that
might do-
joke.
Thank you. I was
might-
there for the. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I
no,
was
you were
just
there.
saying, I might do IDGH. I don't give head or something like that, but as like a response to me telling.
It's great. I love that.
Yeah, that's really
Just
funny.
like I like that it's a response to me telling her that.
For some reason, it's just funny to me that like she wants to give head, but she just gets distracted. There's just so many other things. Oh, look at a button. That's fun. You're like, no, just stop. Hold on. What's that? Oh, a squirrel.
This podcast so boring. I'm sorry, guys. Bye.
My friend Jessica
Leedy.
Saul told me once that she was hooking up with a guy and she was about to go down on him, and then she, just to be a goof, started using his dick as a microphone. And she was like, he did not find it funny.
That is so fucking funny.
She's
Is
like,
she
"Is
writing
this
that
on?"
down like things to try later? Who's from out of town?
Thank you so much, Brett. What a great bit.
Hey, thanks guys. Thanks for the feedback. Great
All right.
notes.
Doesn't work as well
what
with
was
a
it next?
vagina.
Next up, we got
Yeah.
Jersey.
That's so sad. Is this
the
thing
sound
on?
working?
I can't tell. What is Hello.
You hello.
It's one of those condenser mics.
Hello, hello,
me up from
hello,
anywhere.
hello.
This seems like a good room. Low ceilings.
What are you? Party of four? We got room in here. We got room. All right. Next up, we got Jersey.
Jersey.
Okay, I got
Natural
short
acoustics.
ones for you guys today. Short and dumb. You ready?
Yes.
Leedy?
Okay.
Ooh.
I don't know where Leedy went
I was
to.
just thinking about how the vagina is more like natural acoustics, like in old Greek amphitheaters. Like that's what it is, you know? Because the Greek amphitheaters is like shaped like this, you know? So it's just like you speak out, and then it's you don't need voice amplification.
You can whisper next to one part of the vagina, and if someone's at the other part of the vagina, they can hear you perfectly. It's the
Yeah,
coolest thing.
if you're ever in a threesome, you're just like, hey.
I know what my 5th grade science project's gonna be.
So the bit is you do like philosophy at the vagina.
You could also do like some tragedies.
Oh, yeah,
like
do
if she
divine
doesn't
comedy.
come, that's a tragedy. Yeah.
Okay, are you guys ready for short and dumb?
Yeah.
Always.
Okay.
I'm right here.
They say one of the signs that you're having a stroke is that you smell toast. So the people who die the most from strokes should be the people who work at bakeries, because they're the only one for whom that clue does not work.
Oh, they'll never know if they're having a stroke.
Yeah. Mhm.
Wow. The
That's
silent
true.
killer.
Short and dumb.
I don't think it's dumb.
I don't think it's dumb. It's
I do
short.
think it's short.
Yes.
Shortbread.
Yeah.
You could say that a baker might have such a refined palate that to be like, that's stroke. Isn't that not?
Wait a
That's
minute.
not a.
This isn't my toast.
This isn't
Yeah, it's got to be
marbled
burnt
wheat.
toast, so it's got to be a bad baker.
Yeah, that's true too. My joke that I just always I would say this from time to time was like the idea of toast was not always a thing. So when people were having strokes before then, they were smelling something, and then the first person who made toast, they're like, what? Oh, what? Someone having a stroke in here? I'm very
They're
concerned.
like, does anybody else smell something that could be really good, but it wasn't done properly?
You guys are gonna think this is crazy, but thing that I'm smelling now is exactly what I smelled the day that I lost half the use of my face. Somebody write that down, because I feel like that might be medically relevant one day in the
Yeah.
future.
Someone hands him a piece of toast. Try this. No. Oh god. Just give it a smell. No.
I've only got half a face left.
No, I don't want to do that. All right. Anyway, back to the toast thing.
All right.
Yeah, it's great. The silent killer, bread, bakery. I don't know. I like the idea of them having a strong sense of smell now. There's something about that. Or they're just dropping like flies in bake shops. Just people with like one stroke after another. Like, I don't understand why no one's picking up.
You
on
have
the-
to be
on the
really
signals.
careful when you work at a bakery, because you're not going to know if you have a stroke.
It makes it seem like, yeah, the burnt toast is actually killing people.
Yes. That was
Yeah.
a mystery for a long time. How come so many people are dying at the
I
bakery?
thought people with strokes smelled burnt toast. Turns out it's the burnt toast that causes strokes.
Well, there was a couple of detectives who thought that there was like a serial killer who was burning toast. All the victims reported smelling burning toast. We're gonna get this sick son of a bitch.
They just keep on putting bakers in prison. I like that. That's great. Just one baker after another.
I have another short dumb one.
I like short
I was
dumb.
anticipating this. When you want to remember something, you put it in the memory bank. When you want to remember to jerk off to something, you put it in the spank bank. But sometimes I accidentally put things in my spank bank that I meant to put in my memory bank. Like I was jerking off on my laundry the other day.
That's just a beautiful
I
joke.
love that.
Great.
I love that
Yeah.
joke.
I love that. You know, I love the idea that like if you don't have like enough like dirty images of women in your brain, you know, your spank bank's like, hey, we're gonna have to dock you. All right, you. What? Yeah, you only got 2 dirty images in your mind. You're. This is
You actually owe us 3 blowjob videos.
Oh man, that's unbelievable. It's crazy. I'm about to get married. That
My
doesn't
spank
matter.
bank has overdraft fees. That's messed up. That is messed up. You can't keep withdrawing this same image. Come on, man.
Funny, like I can remember the image of 2 girls scissoring, but I'm jerking off to the smell of my grandmother's cookies. Like, you confuse them.
So my
Powerful
question
memory.
for you guys is, can you think of a savvier way to get to this punchline? Because I can see 8 different ways to perform that, where it's like, instead of saying I was jerking off on my laundry, being like, all right, after I do the dishes, then I have to masturbate to the dry cleaning, like something like that. Or
I like how short you did it. I thought
yeah,
because you got a
yeah.
solid laugh out of me. Like that was real. That was I wasn't
Yeah,
faking
it was just quick enough for me to. You were like just that step ahead, like you were just
Right.
making it to the ledge before me.
all right, sweet.
I'm gonna put
Because
it in my
also
memory and
you-
my spank bank.
Because you did an extra step there, which I like that was left out, because not everything put in your memory bank are like wholesome, sweet memories. Your version of memories was a to-do list, like a chore that you had to do. And so that was enough of a leap too that made it like super fun, that like, I
okay.
guess like, oh, yep, got to put that in there. Yep, got to do laundry. So it was just, it was just delightful, all the moves that you made there.
2 perfect jokes. Excellent.
Well done.
Thank you,
Learn
everybody.
new
Under
term.
pressure now, Kristen. Ooh.
This is a raw joke that has way too many words in it. But okay, so here's the thing.
Wait, before we get to our guest, Kristen Key, just want to remind everybody to check out our Patreon,
know she's
patreon.com/ITA-pod.
Somebody call a time in.
She's having a stroke.
Are you smelling burnt toast? Do you work in a bakery? Patreon.com/ITA-pod. A lot of excellent tiers, a lot of extra content, special fan-only episodes, the high-riding challenges, kids with bikes, great ideas at the movies. Patreon.com/ITA-pod. Join for as low as $1 a month. And next up, we got Kristen Key.
Woo! Time in.
So my wife and I, we moved recently, and she's the organizer in our house, which is great because our house is very organized. Everything has a place, but I don't always know where those places are. And when I ask her where things are, she doesn't answer with a location. She answers with like clues. I'm like, where are the Band-Aids? And she's like, where they always are. I'm like, great, because if they started moving, we'd have to call somebody. Like, I have a paranormal friend that would be like stoked. She's like, your Band-Aids are walking. So if I ask a follow-up question, like, could you be more specific? She's like, the Band-Aids are with the neck pillows. I'm like, where the fuck are the neck pillows? So I completely stopped using Band-Aids. Now all I use is Quilted Northern. Where the toilet paper is, because I buy it and I hide it because I'm waiting for my wife to ask, where's the toilet paper? So I can say, up your ass. 2 parts to this joke. So our friends invited us to an escape room recently. And I was so excited because I'm going to get there, find something we need, hide it. So my wife will have to ask me where it is. Great plan. I could not find anything useful because I am shit in an escape room, because there's like things you need to find and then red herrings. And I always fall for the red herrings. Like if there's like, there's these numbers that coordinate to a lock that gets us out of the room, or there's a map that leads to that silverware drawer. I'm like, I will decipher the forks. So anyway, I found Band-Aids and up your butt. I don't know how to end the joke. And that's where that's
I
Uh,
have
the
a
joke
few
is.
ideas.
Okay.
One, I think it'd be really funny if you said, she's like, where's the toilet paper? You're like, up your ass. She's like, no, that's where the Band-Aids are.
That's funny.
The second part, I would love it if you were like, this thing leads you to the silverware fork, thing leads you to the escape. And then you're like, and I'm always like, I'll decipher, and then something that is neither of those things.
Okay,
You're like,
that's
I'll
funny. Yeah.
decipher this pumpkin.
Right. Yeah, I'm deciphering the barcode on the serial number on the microwave.
Yeah, my thoughts on that were, it would be great if the thing that you are paying attention to is very clearly not part of the game at all. Where, like, I'm still working on this fire alarm here. I'm still trying to figure out what this emergency exit means. All I can
Or
think
you
is
stole
emergency
someone's
exit, fire
phone
alarm.
out of their pocket, and you're like, "Oh, I wonder what this is." How did this work into things? I had a thought about the first part, which I love, but I also love that you're asking for Band-Aids, which is something that's like slightly not a thing that you want to wait to,
Right.
like
Yeah.
find out about,
Right.
So she's like, they are where they always are. And you could be like, I'm bleeding. I don't have time for your philosophy lesson. It's just like, things are where they are. That is interesting. Yeah.
It gets philosophical. Sometimes it feels like a riddle, like,
Yeah.
well, where is that? Like, I don't know. What has eyes but cannot see? Like,
Yeah.
looking in the blinds. Like, I don't know.
I can be blind, poetic, or, something else. The answer is justice.
I was very happy to hear you say they were with this other thing. I was definitely in my mind. I was like, oh, it's got to be that's the next thing. That was
They're
great.
with the neck
Yeah,
pillows or the
yeah.
heating pad or something these are all things that I'm all like, where are they? I know we have them, but this is how it always goes.
I like that she is this like troll underneath a bridge that you have to somehow please, in order to get the things that you want. So any kind of like imagery that speaks to that anytime that you are
I'll
coming
give
across...
you your Band-Aids 3 if you answer these riddles. Like,
right. There's something fun about that.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought about the Riddler because she's asking you these like riddles to find the thing that you want. So if you could imagine Batman being like, "Where's the bomb, Riddler?" and the Riddler being like, "The bomb is where it always is, Batman. I've told you 1,000 times. Are you really asking me where the bomb is again?"
You know, it'd be fun too. I don't have an answer for this, but it would be great if the Band-Aids, when you ultimately wind up finding them, they are in a truly satisfying, like, place, like riddle-wise. You're like, oh, they are where they always are. That's right. You're like, that's exactly where, whatever it is. You're like, geez, holy crap. It's like, for some reason, it's like, teaches you something about yourself. You're like, wow, that was amazing. I don't know what that is, but it just makes me laugh that it would be a satisfying answer. And you're almost glad she didn't say, because what if the journey was more important than the destination?
What if that is just an as if? She says it as if I'm going to do this.
Yes, that's true.
Like as if I'm going to go on this journey and then find them in this place that has taught me about myself. And the way,
the medicine cabinet, of course. They are where they always are. That's
Oh, what if you go through this whole like Herculean odyssey to find the Band-Aids? You know, like you're solving all the clues, you're doing all the things you're supposed to do, and then when you get there, it kind of like escalates into this fight. Then you finally get to the place, and you're like, "There's not there. The Band-Aids aren't there." And then your wife comes in, and looks at it, and it's like, "Oh, well then we're out."
That's great too.
That's
That is
funny.
very good. This seems ripe for a callback later on, where maybe you're having some issue. It's a deeply emotional issue. It's something that's like more significant between you two, but you're not really quite handling it well. Every time this fight comes up, you don't actually deal with the underlying issue. You just kind of put this Band-Aid over it, and you're like, oh my God. I'm doing what I always do. The Band-Aids are where they always are. I'm as if you come to some other realization later. The quilted northern thing, I was confused about that turn. You said you're now using the toilet paper
instead
as
of a Band-Aid, yeah.
Okay.
I'd kind of like it to be not toilet paper because toilet paper isn't a bad Band-Aid. Like, is there a thing that you could use that's a worse Band-Aid than toilet paper and then have that be the same thing? Like, because I buy those, you know.
hey, are you wearing a neck pillow around your ankle? Yeah, I cut myself shaving.
I like the idea of using a neck pillow as a Band-Aid. That's funny.
She says that they are where the neck pillow is?
Yeah, they're with the
so
neck
then,
pillows.
Then you would find
they're with the neck
then you would
pillows.
find the Band-Aids if you went there. So there may be another way to set up where she's telling you where one thing is, and then you have to use that as a Band-Aid because her riddle has to be telling you where one thing is, but not the thing you're asking for.
Possible ending for the escape room part of it, where you are focused really hard on this pumpkin that is obviously has nothing to do with the actual puzzle, and you're hiding it because you want your wife to ask about it so that you can say up your butt. But then you solve the escape room and you just have this like little pumpkin in your pockets and you're just like losing your mind. Like, aren't you curious what happened to the pumpkin? And your wife's finally like, what happened to the pumpkin? And you're like, it's up your butt.
Got her.
Kristen Key out.
Ooh, here's an idea. What if, just as a get back at her, you just help in the escape room by giving her the same stuff? Like she's like, hey, where did you say that the marbles in the room were? And you're like, they are where they always are.
That's what I want it to be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Have you
next
tried looking where the neck pillows are?
yeah, but it's got to be like it's with the ancient artifacts. Have you tried to, it's something escape room related? I think would be
Right.
Yeah.
maybe appropriate.
Love
I'm
it.
trying to.
Work.
Is there any one more thing that someone would say? Because there was the two I couldn't rack my brain around like a third one. It is where it always is, and it's with some other thing. I don't know. The only thing I can think of is like sometimes.
Oh,
people
you
be
know is the one I wrote down.
Like, oh, you know.
Yeah, because I get that one a lot. Oh, you know where it is, and I fall for it. I'm like, yeah, I know where it is. I'm like,
Really?
I don't. I really don't.
Have there been situations where you just automatically by instinct ask her where something is without looking for it because you're just used to asking her?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's
Yeah.
Well,
that's
and
a-
I'm like, I just
that's a
can't. I'm
reaction
like,
to that.
I don't know where we keep this. Where do we keep the super glue?
Right.
And she'd be like, where do you
Right.
think we keep the super glue? I'm like,
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah,
I
that
think
kind of
you
answer.
you might know better than I do. And so I'll like look in her drawer, in her closet. She's like, it's in the garage with the tools. I'm like,
Or maybe it's probably where you put it last. You're like,
oh, I get that. Okay, so we get a few of
that's
these. Yeah.
True. It is probably where I put it last. Oh God, I gotta go do some soul searching.
Did you
like
look
you
for
know,
it? Is
yeah.
another one? Well, did you look?
Yeah. Did you look? And sometimes I'm like, no. But then after I look, we have to have the conversation again. I'm like, okay, I looked. Now she's like, well, where did you look? I'm like, well, where does it go? Where it always goes. Fuck. Like,
Well, I will admit, being on the road
circles.
with Steve, I get that way more increasingly. Like we did a 2-night run at a theater, so we spent the entire day at the theater. Then the next day, he's like, "Where's the bathroom?" I'm like, we just were here. Why are you asking me something that you definitely know, have been to?" I'm like, I'm not responsible for this.
See, that's the thing, but why do people get angry when you ask them a question they think you should know the answer to? Because I'm just a little absent-minded, but my wife does treat me sometimes like I'm fucking stupid, and then like I spend all my time trying to infuriate her. Honey, where are the cough drops? Where do you think they are? Like,
Yeah, because
probably
I guess
with the medicine, but I still where with the medicine? Is it like behind, like
coming from
give me a
someone
map.
who may have been was more on the other side of these things usually, is just like, if I weren't here, what would you do? I mean, would you die? Would you
Yeah.
fall apart?
She would say,
you
you
bleed
take
to
her
death?
side.
Or would you just think for a second and go, oh yeah, it's probably like with the neck pillows, or what? Would you just figure it out? So I'm like, can you just take the extra second to figure it out before whatever?
There can be a tendency in that situation where people will, because they're good at finding stuff, you just come to depend on them instead of
Yes.
taking the effort, because it'll take them less time. And then that instinct turns into just zero thought after a while, and just like, do I have to pee?
Yeah.
I really like that section where you were like asking a question, then she was asking a question, then you were asking a question back, and she was asking a question back. Because then you can wrap up that whole thing with like, where's the this? And she's like, did you look for this? And she's like, where do you think I looked for this? Well, the thing is where it is. Do you need me to say your name backwards or something? What is the deal here?
Rumpelstiltskin. Start yelling.
Yeah,
at-
what's that? What's the what do I have to say to get the answer? Like I think that's the crux of the
Yeah.
joke.
So now I start off every question with, first of all, Rumpelstiltskin.
But then the sex afterwards is insane.
Honey, where's your
It's like
clit?
pent up rage. It's where it always is. Not there. Did you even look?
Have you tried near the labia? All right. Anything else for Kristen, everybody? Anything else for
Ooh, I have another thing for treating genitals like they're comedy
microphone?
stage.
Yeah.
Ooh, curtains.
Excellent bit, Kristen Key.
All right.
Wonderful
Hope we were
job.
helpful. Thanks for joining us. Now we got
Brian.
yeah.
All right, this one's a weird one, but let's do it. Our entire conception of addiction was actually based off of a very simplistic experiment done on rats, where they gave them regular water and then cocaine or heroin-laced water. And the rats would drink the heroin or cocaine-laced water again and again and again until they just literally killed themselves. And scientists freaked out and said, this stuff is so addictive, people cannot have these drugs. They will literally keep doing it until they die. And in the 1970s, Bruce Alexander came along and said, maybe we're looking at this whole experiment wrong. Maybe all these rats are in cages and live miserable lives, and so that's why they wouldn't mind killing themselves with these drugs. Why don't we give them an environment that's actually worth living in? And he designed this thing that came to be known as Rat Park, where there's wheels and there's all the things a rat could want. There's delicious different types of food and cheeses. There's guys and girls to hang out with and fuck, and they can do whatever they want, have a beautiful time. But then also there's 2 water bottles, one regular water and one that's laced with drugs. And the vast majority of those rats in those cages would not drink the cocaine and heroin laced water. They wouldn't even like it. They preferred the regular water. The vast majority, 95% of these rats just wanted the regular water. And of course, 5%, they're just cool rats. They just like to get wet. I don't know. Look, what can I say? Some rats are cooler than other rats. I'm sorry. It's just fact of life. Anyway, that's really it. It's just a long walk for one bit about how some rats are just
love
cooler
it.
than other rats.
I mean, it's a really interesting study. I wish more people knew about it, and so I'm in favor of this just to begin with.
I really like the turn about these rats are just cool, and maybe like go into it. It's like, yeah, those rats are promoters and DJs, and it's like they fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna get fucked as
Yeah.
good by any other rats as you are by the coke rats.
I don't even think I said the wording right. My punchline was supposed to be, some rats just like to party. That's it. All right. I don't know. I can't explain it. 5% of rats like to get wet. Okay.
So we're
Yeah.
taking those 5% of rats and we're starting a reality TV show. It's called Rat Playboy Mansion.
It's called the Rat Pack.
The
What are
Rat
we doing?
Pack.
For some reason, it was the exact same rats that were into the glow sticks. They were into, they were all waiting online to get into this one weird part of Rat Park, you know? They were all going into the bathroom together to drink the water.
One rat is like, hey, let's go to Rat Park. It's really, really fun. And the other rat's like, yeah, but have you ever been to Rat Park? Fucked up.
Oh, man, Rat Park used to be about the food and the fucking. Now it's all about the drugs.
These guys would drink the cocaine water and then just like watch the Wolf of Wall Street like 10 times in a row. Yeah, all I want is more of that for this joke. Just like, what are the cool / drug things that these rats are doing?
And also, like the 95% of rats that just drink the regular water, of them, 13% went on to get their college degree.
At Rat University.
I also kind of like deriding the other 95% of rats. It's like, these rats are cool, you know? It's like, they're not like the fucking dorks who are like, oh, I just want regular water, please.
Regular rat. Yeah. I was. That's great. I like tinkering around with that. Right there.
You forgot to assign rat homework. Get the fuck out of here, dork.
Straight edge loser.
Oh, excuse me. That rat's on cocaine and he's fucking my girlfriend. Yeah, deal with it. The rats on cocaine are fucking the scientists' girlfriends.
Just the female scientists right, hanging out with the cool rats. Hey, you want to get out of here? There's a wheel, I know.
There's a wheel, I know. I can get us in. Don't worry. I know a guy.
Well, oh my god. I don't know if I should all this.
Wait, hold on a second. I was like, I can get us in. I did this maze before.
But yeah, they put the coke rats in the maze. I mean, like that. Oh, I love the idea of like, we don't know about, whenever I hear about rats, I'm never sure if they're the same rats. So it'd be funny if the coked up rat's like, yeah, give me that lipstick. Oh yeah, I'll fucking do that maze. What the fuck, man? I don't care. I just did 7 experiments in one day. What did you do, man? Okay? Rise and grind, baby. Rise and grind.
They've all got like super obnoxious Instagram accounts. All these rats, just like with the fucking aviator glasses on, not wearing shirts. Cabo, baby. Cabo.
Hey, maybe
Moonlighting his lab rights to afford the heroin water.
Maybe those 5% of rats have to go to trial for a defamation suit, and then all of their rat water behavior is exposed by each other.
It's very possible.
That's a topical
I remember
reference.
this. I remember that.
Is it a topical reference?
Probably not at this
Or
point.
has that rat trial ended and now nobody gives a shit anymore?
We have a Patreon episode, okay? I get at least another month.
Yeah, we gotta pimp the Patreon.
I think part of what I love about this is the fact that it was a long walk. And so I'm curious, like, if we started tinkering with the first part, like trying to punch that up, like would it be as much fun to get to the turn eventually, you know? And so I don't know how you can justify that, because it is a lot of time to burn, you know?
There's only
I think
two waters. It's only heroin or regular water. No, like, flavored water. No LaCroix. No, it's either heroin or tap. What do you want? So obviously, a lot of them went for the heroin water. Yeah.
That actually sounds like a pitch deck by a rat on the cocaine water. He's like, we still like 2 waters, right? Where there's more water, and then we charge people for the water. People would be lining up for this water, man. We could own our own lab if we, you know.
First we get the water, then we get the heroin, then we get the girl rats.
Then we
And
get
we
the
get the
mouse
power.
pussy. Could you imagine as a human every day you just wake up and you're like, water or heroin? You're like, okay.
What a great bit, right? We had
That was
some
fun.
thanks.
That was
I think
fun.
You guys are super fun.
Jarrett's first instinct is correct. I think the setup is great. It's an interesting setup. I'm interested the whole time, even though I know the studies. You just need to even the counterweight, and you just need to add all that extra
Agreed.
stuff to the other end.
Because the turn is simple and silly because it has nothing to do with the point of everything I just said leading up to it. The simple is like, hey, some rats just like to party. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, the fact that that is just true in my brain is like so stupid. And then, yes, I can elaborate on it, you know, ad infinitum because it doesn't matter. It's just
Because I love that line that someone just said, like, can you imagine waking up every morning and just having a choice, water or heroin? It's like,
I said that, Kristen. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's a great line. That's great.
Great.
I think that was Leedy.
I think it was Carrie Fisher, maybe, or was that little 9-year-old girl?
Rob is a giant douche. Erase. Okay. Rob is my friend again, Wall.
Yay! Man, come back on your podcast.
The's no wall over there.
There's no
It's
wall.
no.
Man, Han Solo's gonna be pissed when he sees how much
a
he wrote
vagina.
on the Millennium Falcon.
What is all this?
Which, by the way, the fact you started your joke with "my wife and I just moved," and I was like, "And now you're in the Millennium Falcon." That's great.
We're in the process of moving. We had to hire a pilot to get us to the location.
Yeah.
We're going to the Endor system.
All right. Anything else for Rob Ryan's bid, everybody?
Well job. I like your hair.
Well job.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think it's time.
I think it's time for Leedy to show us what she drew on her iPad, and she's gonna make us laugh with all the drawings that she did on the episode today, our 100th episode.
I gotta
No.
be co-hosted.
Kristen, you straddle the line perfectly of I'm being supportive and what the fuck is this?
I can
We
do
go
a
watch
better
that video,
song
like,
off the top of my head.
Get some more heroin water.
Okay, first up I have the Brett lizard.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember this.
His eye
It was
moves.
towards the very
Oh,
end.
right.
Don't remember.
Gigabits.
The
It
very
actually might have
beginning.
been before we were streaming, so it might be dicey.
Yeah.
here.
This is a lizard that definitely looks like Brett. He's got a little beard and little Brett hair, and he's just on a tree.
Next up, you do crack.
You go to jail.
Well, the words you do crimes, you go jail, and it is Kristen, and she is dressed like a police officer, and she's pissed.
I've never looked more attractive in my life. That is going in my memory spank bank.
Oh, then I have, hey man.
This is the coronavirus at a party that you just do not want to run into. In the
Looks
champagne
like
glass.
such a dick.
Lady, you nailed it.
Thank you.
Saying, hey man, it's been ages. He's wearing a tuxedo shirt, not even a tuxedo.
You got all the details. It was great.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Hey man, it's been ages. That's exactly what I was imagining.
Then I have this one.
Oh, this is great.
Wow.
Just a
Oh.
perfect animation of a piggy bank that says spank bank on it, and then a brain that is shaped like mirrored like the piggy bank. And inside the spank bank is going socks, to-do list, and then inside the brain, the spank is going to titties. Oh, it's so silly.
Incredible.
Yeah, I think the sock represents laundry. I think.
Laundry, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
is laundry, 100%.
Titties.
Titties. Is right.
Titties.
I love these titties.
I can
Titties.
pause on the titties if you want.
For a lot of young men, the sock
Dude.
also represents the spank bank.
That's right. That's right.
Oh no, you're right.
The spank bank's too big to fail. I mean, we gotta break up these big spank banks. That's what we're
It's FDIC insured.
But there's amphitheater vagina.
Oh,
Wow.
lovely. This is great.
Oh my God.
This is
Look
great.
inside the
We have an-
vagina.
We have a vagina, and there inside the vagina, deep in there, is an amphitheater, which is great.
It's definitely a young vagina, I can say,
You know, it is
based on its
actually-
all being where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, this is definitely something Jeremy Irons would be into.
Make it
Yeah, this is a really young vagina. Her asshole hasn't even come in yet.
And look, she's wearing lip gloss. You can tell a young vagina from her lip gloss.
Christ.
I'm glad that you're using Google for reference material as opposed to just like getting a mirror. Leedy, every time you just drop,
Takes too much time.
we just see like
Googling that. I'm just Googling, guys.
this is a reference. It's a reference.
Then I have Rob Ryan can suck my butthole.
Wow, what a great. Now I know whose vagina you referenced.
Oh no!
I'm back
so
on the
many.
wall.
Nope, back on
Back
the.
on the wall.
Leedy's trying to save time by finding a picture of this little girl and a vagina all in one.
The hand you can't see actually has a mirror.
The really sad part is she does not have a butthole. That is,
This is the
My butthole
little
hasn't come in
girl-
yet.
This is the little girl from Kenobi winning her Emmy and saying Rob Ryan can suck my butthole.
Yep, I certainly can.
She knows what she's saying too.
Yeah.
It's not just a lie.
Absolutely.
Not like you and McGregor.
But you has this already been said? You can't suck her butthole.
Right, because it hasn't come in yet.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was established.
Not because it's a child, but because it hasn't come in yet.
Right. Well, I do crimes, I go jail, but I can't because she doesn't have a butthole.
Oh my god. And last but not least, although I probably
The
should have
butthole.
ended on that one. Want to get out of here?
It's got a little tattoo there.
I'm
too.
digging that
Oh,
rap.
the tattoos!
Yeah.
that's
Great
Got
addition.
it. I love the male scientists. They're just like, oh, come on. Oh, we keep... What the hell, man?
That's my wife.
They're just too cool.
Hey, did you
Oh,
want to?
that was a tatted up rat with sunglasses on saying, "Do you want to get out of here? There's a wheel I know."
To a
And the male
scientist.
scientist
Yes.
is like, hey, we're almost done with our science. Did you want to maybe go to TGI Fridays or something? And he's like, I'm actually going out with 85673.
Oh.
I've already got plans. He's a real take charge kind of rat. I love that. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, excellent episode. Thank you, Kristen, for joining us. This was a delight.
Kristen, where can people find you?
I have a website. It's kristenkey.com. Kristen with 2 eyes, 1 vagina. All the social medias on there. I've got my weekly
That we know
live
of.
show, Friday Live at 5, when I'm in town off the road, and a podcast called Kristen Knows Blank. But everything can be found on my website, kristenkey.com.
And I believe all of us have done it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You all have it. I'm looking to repeat you guys because I have
yeah.
to. Yep.
So
it's
much
about time
fun.
for everybody to come back on.
You're our
right.
favorite, Kristen.
Hey,
the
You're
best.
my favorite. I would do this show every week if I could. I think we talked about that at one point.
Yeah,
We
we did
sure
ask you
did.
to, and you
Just
said
got
no.
too busy. Yeah, I did. I was like, but I don't want to do that to you every week when you're like, all right, are you in? And I'm like, no, no again.
Too busy.
I'm on tour again because the world reopened. So it means all my fun shows like this one, are more infrequent, but always ask because I will do it anytime I'm available. I love you guys.
Awesome.
Well, we will have you back
Yeah.
soon.
I really do like Robbie's. Okay.
I love you too. It's funny. I was actually going to say because Leedy and I have been on tour together, and it's just so funny. As soon as I come on here, it's almost as if I'm like pushed into this persona. Like we were hanging out, it's just normal. Then I get on here and it's like, "Hey, you racist fucking piece." That's the image.
He's lying. He's been misogynistic. It's been awful.
You shut up. You keep your mouth shut over there.
He's been throwing eggs at women all week.
Mhm. And the fist comes in Leedy's screen. And Leedy, where can people find you?
You can find me on all the socials under Leedy Corbin. My Patreon is patreon.com/Leedy Corbin. So find me there.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. Happy 100 episode, everybody. You guys rock. We love you. Good night.
Thanks so much for watching. Check back every Monday for new episodes, or you can listen wherever you enjoy podcasts. If you want to help support the show, tell your friends how much you like Is This Anything? Or get involved, like an episode, share, comment, subscribe. If you want more Is This Anything, you got to join our Patreon at patreon.com/ITAPod. We have a ton of awesome exclusive content on there, and you can join for as little as $1 a month. Check out the links in the description, and hopefully we'll see you next week.